Hi everyone, this is Sultan with RexTheme, and in this video I'll show you how you can generate a custom product feed using Product Feed Manager for WooCommerce. So let's get started. Since you're running a WooCommerce store, you already know that it's crucial to promote your products on different large marketplaces to increase your sales. Now, Product Feed Manager for WooCommerce comes with pre-built product feed templates for over 170 different marketplaces. However, this does not cover all the marketplaces available out there. There could be thousands of marketplaces out there, either locally or internationally, that we did not yet create a pre-built template for. But let's say you want to generate a product feed for such a marketplace and promote your product there. So what will you do at that time? Well, don't worry. Product Feed Manager for WooCommerce comes with the feature to generate a custom product feed using your own required custom attributes. So this means that even if our plugin does not have a pre-built template for a required merchant, you can still generate a product feed for that marketplace and promote your products there. So let me show you how you can do that. As you can see, I'm on my dashboard and I already have the plugin installed and activated. Once you have the plugin activated, you'll find the menu called Product Feed on your dashboard menus. So hover on it and click on Add New Feed. So once you click on that, it will take you to this page to generate a brand new feed. Let me just name it Custom 101. Okay. Next, you need to configure some of these options. For example, this one, products, you select what products you want to include. You can use certain filter options, or you can just choose all published products to include all your products. The refresh interval determines how frequently your feed will be updated with the changes you make in your store. Next are the other options, such as include variable parent product if you want to include a parent product for variable products to the feed. Next is include product variations if you want to include or exclude product variations. Then you see the option for include variation product name for variable products if you want the variant term to be added to the product title for product variants. Then you can include this option. Next is the option to include parent products for group products to your feed. So if you have grouped certain products and you want to show that as a single product in your feed, you can use this option. Next, you see the option to exclude invisible or hidden products. If you do not want to include any products that are marked as invisible or hidden in your store, you just choose yes. And finally, the option to include analytic parameters. If you want to add UTM parameters to the links of all of your products, you use this option. There are several other options in the settings menu. For that, I'll have a separate video to explain. Now, for the feed generation, since you could not find your required merchant template within the template list we have, you are here to create a custom product feed. So what you do is you select the merchant type as custom. Just click over here and you'll see the first option there is called custom. Just click on that and it will just create a single field over here for the attribute, okay, which is the product ID. Usually most marketplaces require this attribute, so we figured why not give this as the default value for custom. Now, next is to choose the file format. If you want to generate an XML file or if you want to generate text, CSV, whichever you require. So in this video, I'm just going to choose XML. Before I explain anything, let me just click on this one and show you that these are certain attributes that we have already created in the store by default. So these are actually attributes that we have added for Google. So we just included that here. If you want, you can choose some of the attributes from this list, or you can use your own custom attributes. Now for the attributes, before I explain how to add attributes, let me just show you one thing. You can see there are certain headings which define what these fields are. Now this is the attribute field. This will be the tags for your XML feed or the header for your CSV file when you generate the feed. So let me just click on this and you can see there are certain attributes included here already. So these are basically attributes that we submit for Google. We've just included that by default. If you want, you can use one of these attributes from here, or you can use your own custom attribute. Let me show you both. Now for this one, you can already see that this has been used from the attribute list we provided, which is the ID. Okay. Now for the type is what type of data I'm going to include. If I choose a static data, then I can input a manual value and this value will be the same for all the products. If I choose attribute data, then I can choose one of the product attributes that you already have in your WooCommerce store. So once I'm choosing product ID, this means this is pulling the product ID from your products in WooCommerce store for each of your products in the feed. Alright, so if I choose product title, it's gonna pull the product title of your product in your WooCommerce store. Okay, so since this is for product ID, I'll just choose the value product ID. The prefix and suffix is basically if you want to add any static value to your value for this attribute. So let's say before product ID, if you want to add any letter, you can do that. Okay, so this will be the same for all the products in the feed. These are static values, prefix or suffix. Now the output sanitization is basically certain sanitizations we allow within attributes to optimize your feed. I'll have different videos to explain these sanitizations in details. Alright. Next, since this is a normal attribute, if you want to add another normal attribute, just click on add new attribute, and then from please select, just choose one of the attributes there. So let's say I'm choosing product title. Okay, and I'm choosing the type as attribute, and I'm choosing the value as product title. Now, other than that, let's say there is a certain attribute that doesn't exist in this list. I want to add a new custom attribute. So let me just click on add new custom attribute. Once you click on this, you'll see this will be completely blank. So here I can input any value I want as an attribute for the feed. So let's say I want to add something called EAN code. Okay, so this is not a default value that we have in this list. So once you input that, this will be considered as a custom attribute added for the feed. So now I'll choose the type as attribute, and I'll include the value for the EAN code which I've stored somewhere in the data. All right, so whichever value applies to this, I can choose that one. So let's say I want this EAN code to be my product SKU, so I can include that one. I choose the output sanitization as default, and this one is 0. All right, so now let's say I want to add another custom attribute, but I don't want to use any value for WooCommerce. I want to use a static value. So what do? Again, click on add new custom attribute. So let's say this is attribute is going to be called product_brand. Okay, so now I'll choose the type as static, and let's say you want to include your own company name. So let me just write Rex, and I'll choose the sanitization as default. Okay, now let's say before the product title, I want to add a prefix to include Rex in front of all the product titles in the feed. So I'll just use a prefix. So these are just to show you how this works. Okay, so that when you use the feed, you can freely use this in these fields and generate a proper custom product feed. Okay, and now let me just add a new attribute for the price of the product. You can see there is this regular price, and I'll choose the type as attribute, and I'll choose the value as regular price. Okay, now this is just going to bring the price value. If you need to submit currency to the marketplace, then you need to add that either as a prefix or suffix depending on the marketplace. So most marketplaces accept suffix values for currency. So let's say I'm selling this to UK, so I'll just use a suffix of GBP. Okay, so now I've set up a basic custom product feed for myself. Next thing to do is to scroll up and publish. So let me click on publish, and you can see the feed is being generated. Now once the feed is generated, you'll get the option over here to view the feed. Just click on this, and the feed will open in a new tab. So if this is an XML feed, only then you can view the feed. If it's a text feed or a CSV feed, then rather than viewing it, you'll get a download version of that, which you have to view with a CSV viewer. Okay, so let me just check if the fields were correct. So I added a custom field called EAN code, and this is the feed, and you can see for each product we have this tag called EAN code, and we have product brand. Now in my store, I didn't add SKU to products, that's why you see the value as blank. So let's choose SKU as value for EAN code. I obviously have SKU for a couple of products. Let me just scroll down to those products, and there you go. So this is a product for which I had an SKU, so you can see there's a value for EAN code there. So in case you don't have a value for a certain attribute for your products in your WooCommerce store. So if you choose that as the value for your product, that will come down as blank. All right. Okay. Now I chose the product brand as a static as Rex. So you can see all of them has the same attribute called product brand and the value of Rex. Now for the price, I added a suffix of GBP. You can see that in place of price for all the products, there's a GBP at the end. So here I have created a custom product feed using custom attributes. So that's how simple it is to generate a custom product feed that you might require. Okay, so in case you need CSV, all you need to do is choose the file format as CSV, or in case you need text, all you need to choose the file format as text, and then you follow the same process and generate the feed, and your feed will be generated in the right format using the right attributes that you just used. So that's it. That's how simple it is to generate a custom product feed. So that's it for this video. If you face any confusion or issues, you can always knock our support team and we'll be there to help you. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in one of our future videos. Take care.